Hello beautiful makeup lovers and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kerry and I'm so excited because I get to play with the new Odens eye palettes today. I did order all three. I have a weakness for Odens eye and indie makeup in general. So Odens eye are an indie brand based in Sweden and I have been collecting their eyeshadows for quite a while. If you check back on my channel you will see my most recent palette collection video, which is about 3 hours long, full of a lot of eyeshadow palettes and a lot of them are indie brands, and I do have a lot of the Odens eye if you want to check that out. So obviously when they was dropping a new collection, this is called, what is this called? The Perfect World Collection, and they have collabed with 3 different influencers. Now let me get the influencers right. I know that they collabed with Batty Bean and Makeup Just for Fun and Lauren May Beauty. So I will link their channels down below in case you're interested. Odens eye have collabed with other people in the past, other influencers, and I have loved all of the different palettes that have come out. These are limited edition because the limited edition ones are with the influencers, so I had to pick them up. And the first, I think it was 1,000 orders, got the scarves with the palettes. So I'm going to show you a close-up of the 3 palettes, I'm going to show you the scarves, and I'm going to show you the swatches.
Some balance in my life, but I never really put up a fight. Didn't follow my dreams, and now I'm losing sleep. What if I lost touch? What if I'll never get it right? I try to follow my heart, but I lost it somehow. Wish that someone could say it'll all be okay. Just listen to me as I say.
So I thought the easiest way to do this would be just to do one look with each of the 3 palettes. I mean, the packaging from Odens eye is always fantastic. I do really like the formula. Some of the shimmers are more difficult to work with than others sometimes, but on the whole, they are amazing and I do love Odens eye. Now, because I bought these in a bundle, there was a slight discount. Let me just check how much I paid. So the full bundle for the 3 palettes is $91.95, and that is on offer if you're getting the bundle, because if you bought them all separately but you wanted all 3, it would be $101.70. And individually, they are $33.90. Comes in a box that looks like this, super beautiful. I am of course going to reuse this box, and inside I have just stuffed the scarves inside the box. But this is what it looks like, and you do get a nice little card with it as well, which explains about the collection, and it's got a message from all the 3 different influencers that have collabed on these palettes, and obviously the artwork on everything is just stunning. And these palettes are cruelty free. It does say cruelty free on the back of them, and the shelf life is 36 months. So I'm going to start out, I'm going to talk about each individual palette as I do that palette, because if I talk about all 3 now, I'm never going to start putting eyeshadow on. So I think the palette I'm going to start out with today is going to be the Sea Talk palette. So this palette is in collaboration with Lauren May Beauty, and I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I like the theming, the Sea Talk, and then the image that is on the front is really, really pretty. And then inside, this is our colour story. So we do have depth in here, just hitting the table. We do have depth, which I'm very happy about. There are some neutral tones, which I tend to stay away from. And personally for me, I prefer a matte heavy palette. Now, obviously, each influencer has picked whatever their preference is. They might prefer a shimmer heavy palette, they might prefer more neutrals. It's not going to be to everybody's taste, but I love that they have put their own spin on each individual palette. And I do think for me personally, this has got too many shimmers in and it does have 2 neutral shades. Am I mad at it though? No, it's Wenzdae and it looks absolutely delicious. And I have swatched this one already, but it did have gorgeous little indentations in the pan that look like sea scales. So I'm excited to dive into this one today, but because we have only got, I think we've got 3 mattes, because I think this one might be sort of a satiny shade, to be honest, but as you can see by the top I'm wearing, I was very drawn to this colour, so I definitely want to incorporate this one today. I am going to be priming with my Natasha Denona eyeshadow base, and everything that I'm using in this video should be linked in the description box down below, just in case you are interested. Okay, so I think I'm going to start out with the shade called Night Swim, which is this gorgeous deep blue. And I'm just going to start by packing that toward the outer corner area, because if you haven't been on this channel before, I do really like depth in a look, especially toward the outer corner. So I definitely wanted to use this, and to be honest, this is my favourite matte in the palette because the other 2 are very, very neutral. That pigment is beautiful, and I'm just packing it on right on the outer corner, and then we'll work on a little bit of a blend out from there, and then I'm definitely diving into that chartreuse shade because it looks amazing. Okay, that is looking really pigmented and exactly how I want it. Now I'm definitely going into Electric Kelp. Like I said, don't know if this one's a bit of a satiny type of formula. It already looks like it might be getting a bit of hard pan, which is not the best. I've seen a few people say that quite a few of their Wenzdae shimmers have got hard pan, which I haven't had that problem too much. It's happened once or twice, so that's going to be interesting, but I want as much of this shade on as possible. Yeah, it definitely looks like a satiny type of formula, but the colour is beautiful, especially with that blue. I think as well I want to pop this into the inner corner without blinding myself. That would be good. I did notice as well when I was swatching these, the pink in this palette called Iridescent Shell was very, very softly pressed, so just go in very carefully with that one if you're going to be using that pink shade. Shimmer wise, I mean, we have a very shimmer heavy palette here, so I'm not quite sure what to use because Sea Spray looked incredible and so did Ocean Jewel when I was swatching them, so I'm tempted with these 2. But also Mermaid Scale looks super pretty. What do I want to do? Okay, I think I'm going to go into Mermaid Scale to begin with. And I have sprayed it just because it did look a little bit crumbly, and I don't want to get this all over my face if I can possibly help it. And I'm just going to pop this on the inner part of the lid, and I'm expecting it to be very foily, reflective and beautiful, but it is a little bit chunky going on. Can you see that? Yeah, some of the shimmers from Wenzdae aren't my absolute favourite formula. They are a little bit more finicky to work with. Yeah, it's definitely going on a bit chunky, not exactly how I'd like. Probably better with the finger, but because of where I'm placing it, I feel like I'm not going to get in there properly with my finger. It does look a little bit putty-like in the pan as I'm popping the brush in. Okay, yeah, that was a little bit more putty-like and not my favourite, but the other 2 shades that I'm thinking about using look a little bit more, or should I say a little bit less putty-like, and like they will be easier to pick up on a brush. So I think I want to go in with Sea Spray next. And we're just going to pop that on the middle of the lid, and I have sprayed this one as well. I do have my base already done, so I don't really want fallout, but maybe we'll use the deeper shimmer as well just to tie in to that deep shade in the outer corner, but that is a super pretty shade. Just going into that deeper one now called Ocean Jewel, which is the deepest blue shimmer, just to tie it into that deep matte on the outer edge. And back into the deep matte just to make sure everything looks blended and seamless. But those shimmers were not the easiest to work with. That wasn't my favourite shimmer formula. The blues were a little bit easier, the deeper blues, than the lighter blue, but yeah, not the easiest of formulas, but they do look spectacular on the lid, you can't deny that. Trying to go into a little bit more of Mermaid Scale, which was the light shimmery blue. It's difficult to pick up, but let me spray this. And I just want to pop a little bit in between the matte and the shimmer. It's looking a little bit chunky. Maybe this was a bad idea. Oh no, it's spreading out, it's spreading out. Oh yeah, that's tying it together beautifully, especially with what's going on above. Okay guys, I think this is more or less going to be the look. Let me finish everything up and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, I literally feel like a tropical fish and I am not mad at it at all. Anything that can be bright, vibrant, colourful, dramatic, that is what I'm here for, and that is what I was able to create with this palette. It's not my favourite ever colour story because I would have left out the neutrals personally, but I'm super glad that an influencer has had the opportunity to work with an amazing indie brand and create their dream, their vision. And I think the formula is really nice, especially of the mattes. Some of the shimmers are a little bit more difficult to work with than others. So Mermaid Scale was a little bit more difficult to work with than Sea Spray and Ocean Jewel. They was a little bit easier to pick up on a brush and apply on the lid. But you can always go in with your finger with shades that are like this, that are a little bit more putty-like, a little bit more flaky. When they are on though, they are spectacular. And I have to say I really do like this look. My favourite shade in this is definitely Electric Kelp. I love a chartreuse. It is one of my favourite colours. I just think it looks amazing. So for me, I would miss out these 4 shades. And basically, this is the palette that I like with these shades here. But then I am only using one matte because, like I say, this is a bit of a satin. So it's not the perfect palette for me, but I think the quality is good, as Odens Eye usually is. I think it's a very pretty palette. I like what she's done with it, and if I was going to reach for this and do a neutral look, you could easily do that with these sides. I like the fact that it is split up sort of into 2. You can keep it neutral if you want to, you can keep it bright and colourful, or you can incorporate both. I like the versatility of that. A lot of this, especially me reviewing these, this is just personal preference for the amount of shimmers I like and the colour stories, but overall I think this is a lovely palette and I'm really impressed with the look, and I definitely did create something bold, dramatic, exactly what I like. So yes, I'm going to go and be a tropical fish for the rest of the day. Really enjoyed that palette, thought it was really nice, and for me it will be more of a companion palette. I will add other mattes to this just because, for me personally, personal preference, isn't it? It's just what you like. I would have really enjoyed a really light matte blue in this, but I think it's an absolutely beautiful palette. So guys, look number 2 with the Planet Spirit palette. Now I've chosen this one to go next because I'm saving my favourite till last. This one is the collab with Batty Bean, and I love her as a YouTuber and content creator. I think she's fantastic. I love her aesthetic, the looks that she does. I did pick up her palettes that she did with Shroud Cosmetics. Absolutely love those. Super excited to be trying this one today. Now the colour story in this one is very bright and vibrant, and I love bright, vibrant shadows, and it looks delicious. My only complaint with this one is that they all seem to be sort of the same tone, especially the mattes. The mattes are all sort of mid-tone. There's no light matte and there's no deeper matte, and for me that's not a complete palette. So for me this is a companion palette, which, I mean, it's not a bad thing. I've got all 3 palettes and I can definitely pull in other things if I need to, but that's just my personal preference. I do love the colour selection. I do love me some brights. So let's stick these on my eyes. Okay, so I'm thinking I definitely want to play with the orange, and although they are all sort of mid-tone, the mattes, I feel like this one might be slightly deeper of a mid-tone. Does that make sense? So I feel like maybe I want to pop that toward the outer corner. I definitely think to add some lightness and brightness toward the inner corner, we might go in with a Fauna, which looks like a pinky white iridescent-y shade. It looks beautiful. This one is super, super pretty, but I'm gonna stick toward the pinks and the oranges, I think. So I'm gonna go in with Sanctuary, which is this shade here. And I'm just going to pop that on the outer corner, like I said, because although it's mid-tone, it is slightly deeper of a mid-tone, I feel. So that's going to have to be the one on the outer corner. Now, obviously, I'm only sticking to this palette because I'm doing a first impressions with them. But if I was to use this in the future, I would definitely bring in something a little bit deeper matte-wise and something a little bit lighter matte-wise. But not every palette has to have that. It just means for me personally and the way I like things, it's going to be a companion palette. But look how delicious that shade is. Absolutely delicious for spring and summer. I'm not even sure what shape I want to do with this today, but we'll see what the brush does. Then I want to go in with the shade Habitat. I nearly called it Habit, but this orange here, and I'm just going to pop that next to it, leading into it. And I suppose I am looking at the palette and I could use the lighter pink pastel-y kind of shade to blend out the outer corner a little as well, but look at these tones together. I feel like a tutti frutti sweet right now, and I'm not mad at that. Okay, this might be crazy, but I feel like I want to go in with a little bit of Pride, which is the purple, on top of the red in the outer corner. At this point, I don't know what I'm doing anymore, but I don't know. I don't usually build tons and tons of shadows on top of each other. I like to start out with my deepest shade, but we're going to see if this is going to change things up and work nicely. Just to see what we can do. That is definitely changing the tone of it, and it is pretty. Then I will go into Rescue, which is this nice light bubblegummy type of pink, and I am just going to use a little bit of that just to blend out the very edges over here. Then I'm going to go back into Sanctuary, which was the first shade we started with, and just run that on the lower lash line and just work through the different shades that we have already used, just so it's a nice cohesive look on the top and on the bottom. And maybe just a little bit of that light pink just toward the very inner corner. It's time to go with some shimmers, and like I said, I want to use a fauna near the inner corner area, and then I feel like maybe I want to go into this one and then this one. I'm going to start with Animalia, which was the orangey shimmer, and that has picked up nicely on the brush. Do I want to spray it though? Maybe. Okay, we have sprayed it, and I'm going to pop this right in the centre of the lid. Oh, that is beautiful. It's got different reflex in it, and it is definitely a tutti frutti shade. It is pinky orangey corally deliciousness. And that's actually picking up really nicely on my Refer brush. This is a Refer 02 and it is goat's hair, and I do find it easier to pick up certain types of shimmers with these bristles. Then I'm going to go into the purple shimmer called Kindred and just connect that to the mattes in the outer corner, which will make more sense when I've added some more of the purple matte back in the very outer edge when I finish the shimmers. But oh, I love this colour combination. Then I've just gone into that fauna shade, which was the lightest shimmer, and I have sprayed it. Wow. That is an incredible iridescent-y, topper, pinky, whitey, unicorny type of shade. I can't tell you how obsessed I am with these shades together. The combination of these colours, it is so pretty. It's just giving me full-on tutti frutti vibes. Back into a little bit of the purple matte just to tap over the edge. I'm loving this. Absolutely loving this. Okay, let me jump off, finish up the rest of this look, and then we'll come back and see what it looks like. So guys, I am all done, finished up, and I'll tell you the extra things I used because I can't believe how much in love with this look I am. Like, I love an orange, and this is giving me orange, pink, purple. So in the waterline, I did go in with my Beauty Bay eyeshadow stick in, what is this in? Mad Hatter Face. I'm not sure if you can buy these individually anymore. Some of them are gone, but you can still buy them in sets, I believe. And I did get some eyelashes from Amazon. These are just little half lashes. I will link them down below. I just wanted to give an extra little boost to the outer corner, and I do love a half lash, so I did pop those on as well. And the lip combination is the Maybelline Colour Sensational Lip Liner in Coral Fire, as well as the NYX This Is Milky Gloss in Mango. Obviously had to be an orange lip. Living my best life with my oranges. I love an orange lip. So I'm feeling very, very Tutti Frutti Sweets, and I love this look 10 million times more than I thought I was going to, because I knew I loved the colours in the palette. I love the aesthetic of the palette. I really like the colours that were chosen from Batty Bean. I think they are stunning, especially that shimmer for the inner corner fauna is impressive. Very, very impressive. But the combination together, I think absolutely stunning. And I was a little bit worried thinking, oh no, I haven't got any depth. I haven't got any really nice light mattes, but I feel like it's come together beautifully, and I feel like this is a perfect spring summer look, and I don't feel the need to pull anything else in with this look. This palette has surprised me. Like, I knew the quality was going to be good, but the actual colour story, I may be converted. So this is the last look at look number 2, and then we're going to dive in to look number 3. Okay, so time for the third and final look, and we have the beautiful Flora Story palette, and this is with Makeup Just for Fun. This was the one that spoke to me the most. This is the one that is the standalone palette for me that I could use without pulling anything else in, because the colour story inside, it has depth, it has light tones, and it has mid-tones. And for me personally, that is just what I like in a palette. However, having said that, I did really enjoy the last look a lot. So you know we're going to be starting out with Orchid in the outer corner, because that is where I'm going to be getting my depth from. Oh, there was a lot of kick up in the pan with that shade. But that's not a problem if it is super pigmented and delicious. So just want to be packing that on to get my depth out here. I love a combination of greens and purples. Green and purple are my favourite colours in eyeshadow. And to combine the two of them together in this more muted kind of colour story is so delicious. But look at that delicious purple. That is really nice. I think I am also going to run that purple just through the crease and sort of above the crease, because I do have slightly hooded eyes. So obviously we want to be able to see it a little bit when my eyes are open and relaxed. Oh, look at that tone though. That is really nice, and it's applying beautifully. If you would like a closer look at these looks, then I will have all three of these looks uploaded to my Instagram, which is linked in the description box. Sometimes it's just, you can get a better idea of the shades and the look when you've just got a still picture to look at, but this purple, man, that could literally blend itself out, but I feel like I definitely still want to go in with the lighter purple that's in this palette as well. Okay, so going in with the lighter purple, that is called Azalea, I want to say. It's this one here. This is a beautiful muted mauvey purple, and it's delicious, and I just want to make sure that that slots around nicely around the purple we already had down, just to work on a blend. And I will go back and forth between the two shades to make sure the blend is just how I want it to be. Again, quite a bit of kick up from this shade in the pan, so if that bothers you, that's something to note. Then I feel like for the inner corner and the lower lash line, I want to go in with the green shade, so I might go in with a little bit of sage and a little bit of clover just to smoke out that lower lash line. And then I'm so excited to look at the shimmers, and I have no idea which ones I'm going to be going into yet, because every single one of them is a bit of me. So starting out with Sage, which is the deep green, I am just going to run that along the lower lash line, but not all of the way, because I want to keep it lighter toward the inner corner. And again, this shade has got a lot of kick up in the pan. And then the lighter green called Clover. I love that these are so muted. It's just something a little bit different for me, because when I'm buying greens and purples, it's usually extremely bright Technicolor ones. But I'm really impressed with this one. Just something a little bit different. And maybe I'll wrap that tiny bit of purple just onto the lower lash line to connect it up a little bit, just so it looks a little bit more cohesive and makes sense. Okay, time to go with some shimmers, and like I said, the options are endless in this because I like every single shimmer. This one here called Dawn, I feel like that's going to be amazing on the inner corner. It is like a white, green, Also got different reflex of other shades, iridescent-y shades, so I definitely want to pop that in the inner corner. I really like the look of Best Buds and Misty and Magnolia, but I really think that this sort of tealy turquoisey shade called Lush looks beautiful. It's got different reflex in this, like bluey purple. Oh, choices, choices, choices. Okay, I think I'm going to start out with Best Buds, which is this light green shimmer here. Actually, I think I might pop it on the lower lash line just here. Then going into Dawn, which was the light iridescent shade, just for the inner corner. Wow, that's got a lot of pink in it now. I've actually put that on. The eye. Wow, okay. It looked more greeny in the pan, but obviously it's got a pink shift to it as well. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, I'm going to go into the purple shimmer, which is called Magnolia. And this looks like it's quite difficult to pick up on a brush. It's more of the putty-like formula. I don't know, it's picked up on my referral brush. I am still going to spray it, but it did pick up, it did. Let's just pop this all over the lid. Oh, that is super reflective and foily looking and delicious. The sparkles and glitters in this look silvery and it is stunning. Dawn shade leading into it, it just, oh, they pair together so beautifully. Okay guys, I think that is it for the eyeshadow. Let me jump off, finish this look, and then we're going to discuss all three palettes. So guys, that is it. We are done. I have done the full 3 looks with the 3 different palettes. Please do let me know what you think to this look. Let me know which look you prefer out of the 3. I actually don't think I can pick a favourite, guys. I really did like yesterday's look, which was the Planet Spirit palette, and I thought I was going to like that palette the least. But that look may actually be my favourite out of the 3. I need to rethink my life choices. I'm so glad that I picked up all 3 palettes. It was going to be a no-brainer for me because obviously Odens Eye, amazing quality, amazing packaging. Like I say, some of the shimmers are a little bit more difficult to work with sometimes, but when they are on the eye, they are spectacular. I absolutely love these 3 palettes. I'm so pleased that I picked them up. I think they are all gorgeous. Hopefully I have given you some inspiration if you've got these palettes, or if you haven't got these palettes and you don't want to pick them up, you can just pick out some colours at home that you already have in your stash. You don't have to buy all the new makeups. I need to take my own advice. Okay, so let's discuss these palettes individually. I'm going to start with the Planet Spirit palette because this one has shocked me the most. Seeing this colour story, I was like, yes, I absolutely love bright, bold, colourful eyeshadow. That is my absolute favourite. And we have orange in here, which I'm very happy about. I can't believe I didn't use these 2 shades because greens of any sort are usually my favourite, so I'm definitely going to be playing around with those. Please do check out my Instagram if you want to see some more looks because I'm likely to post things over there rather than continually post videos on the same palettes. But I'm obsessed with this palette and I actually want to do so many more looks with this, and I'm so much more excited now. I've done a look with it and I've seen it in person. It is just, it's beautiful. I've changed my mind on this. From seeing it online and judging the colour story, I have totally changed my mind. I think Batty Bean has done a fantastic job with this, and honestly, that look that I did for look number 2, I really love that look. And not every palette is going to have a light matte and a dark matte. You know, it's not going to have all of that stuff in every single palette. And you know, I'm starting to accept that and learn that that is actually okay, and it actually makes me change things up a bit and do my makeup a little bit differently and discover that I actually quite like it. So I really rate this palette. Then we have the Sea Talk palette. Beautiful colour story, absolutely stunning colour story. Like I say, I could have personally left out the browns, but sometimes I do reach for a brown. If I'm just wanting to pop out and I want to stick some eyeshadow on, I will just stick a brown in the crease and that would be perfect for that. I love this chartreuse still. Some of these shimmers were very difficult to pick up. This iridescent shell is extremely softly pressed. Mermaid shade is a little bit more difficult to work with, but when that mermaid shade was on the eye, absolutely stunning. I do really like this, but I do still think there are too many shimmers for my personal preference. Some people are going to be over the moon because they prefer a shimmer heavy palette. But again, amazing quality, beautiful colour story. And then obviously the Flora, which we have just used, and I really like this look. It's very nice, pretty, it's colourful but muted. I feel like colour lovers and neutral lovers are gonna appreciate this palette, especially the fact that you do have depth in this one, you do have some lighter shades and mid-tones. I just think it's quite versatile with the shades that are included. You could go totally monochromatic green or purple, and there is even a neutrally brown here if you just wanted to pop that in the crease. Again, amazing palette and colour story. So all in all, guys, I mean, come on, it's Odens Eye. I do collect a lot of Odens Eye, and there is a reason for that. They are super good. And I am really happy with these 3 palettes. If there is anything else you would like to see with these 3 palettes, maybe me combining all 3 in a look, anything like that, please do let me know. I'll either be doing it on my Instagram or on this channel. I do have a multiple look video coming with Cosmic Brushes Muse, so that's going to take me a little while to put together, so please do subscribe and stick around if you're interested in seeing that one. And I did also forget to tell you what's in my waterline. I did actually use the Odens Eye eyeliner pencil. I think this is in Avocado, it's 005. I wasn't overly impressed with this when I first got it because you do have to go over and over and over in the waterline quite a few times, but once it's there, and it does last. I prefer an eyeliner that once you draw it once, it's there, it's visible, it's not going anywhere. This one you do have to go in quite a few times, but like I say, once it's there, and this is a beautiful shade. It's not actually as bright green as this. As you can see in my waterline, it is more of an avocado-y shade, so bear that in mind. Don't look at the colour of the lid, but I think it's the perfect green to go with the greens in the Flora palette, so bear that in mind if you have this. And then the lip today is a combination of the Colourpop Lippy Pencil in Dopey and the Colourpop Lippy Stick in Oh Snap. So guys, don't forget to let me know which look was your favourite, which palette is your favourite, have you picked any of these up, do you want to? These are limited edition, just reminding you, but of course you can dupe them in your stash if you have similar colours. Thank you for checking out this video, guys. Thank you for the people that stayed till the end, and hopefully I'll see you in my next one. Bye.